standard in acting, I'm an actor myself, so the gold standard in acting is ensemble acting. And how, with all these actors, how does everybody keep working together, kind of pulling the wagon along the same road toward one common destination? I mean,
no, I don't think there was one common destination. I don't think there was. I think everyone came with very different approaches. And of course we all worked together on something, but we all came from very different experiences, and we all work with John in very different ways. So, yeah, but of course there was elements of chemistry that go into the relationship that's formed between the characters that's happening in the moment. And for instance, there was a few things that Micah and I did in preparation, like go out for drinks, and we had a kind of, we certainly competed with each other a lot, which is...
in what way? Competed in what way?
For John's attention, for who was going to be the best actor. Yeah, we certainly weren't on the same page, but it was, you know, it all fed into what the relationship with the characters was meant to be. I mean, at the end of it, I kill him, and the whole way through, he set me up for murder. But on the face of things, we're pretending to be best friends, so it kind of needed to be that way. Like I don't think it could be any other way that we were. I think we both respected each other a lot as people, and was so excited to be a part of this amazing project from the get-go. From when we read the script, we knew it was going to be something special. But there was always an element of distance between us, that we both knew that we couldn't get too close.
So that was purpose. That's the question I was going to say. So that was purposeful. That you came after reading the script and mulling it over, kind of thing, as an actor would. You came to that conclusion that you had to maintain distance. You had to be competitive in some way because he's really not your friend.
Absolutely. I mean, if it was a different story, we would have been much better friends, I think. Right? But no, honestly, it would have. If the story was we both succeed together and help each other, I think it would have been a much different relationship. But obviously now we've stopped filming, so it's like back to reality. Of course, we're better friends now.
Now it's okay to like one another.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're like trying to, you know, make the film successful, so it's not the same. But also, obviously, it's a very stark view of reality that's kind of presented in this film. Like, it's not like a Disney film. It's kind of hardly. Yeah, everyone has their own competing agendas. And I suppose the one character that does bring people together in a strange way was Marshall Teague's character. And there was something very different about when we filmed that scene. The performances and the way that we work with each other. We were all so connected. And it was a 10-minute scene, and we did the whole thing through 30 times.
30 times?
30 times, barely without taking a break. I mean, there was pee breaks.
Right.
Yeah, there was no time to take a break, yeah. But it didn't feel like that. Like we all were there, we were all present. No one wanted to be anywhere else.
That's exactly the way it played. I mean, from my standpoint as viewing it, that's exactly the way it played. I thought it was the most powerful scene in the entire movie, actually. And I, as long as you bring it up, I mean, it reminded me, I thought he was terrific, Marshall Teague, just terrific. The menace and the repressed rage, or barely repressed rage, was palpable, you know, and scary for him. That's a real horror movie, in my opinion. But it reminded me very much, I said this to you outside, it reminded me very much of the cafe scene in Inglourious Bastards, where, what is his name? Michael Fassbender. And they sit around the table, and there are two people masquerading as Nazis. They're actually there to kill Hitler. It's a wonderful, it's a terrific movie, but anyway. And it's the same kind of conversation passing slowly between people, when we know that something bad is going to come out of it, because because somebody, namely the German officer, knows he's being gulled, knows he's being bullshitted, if I can use that word, and eventually it erupts into incredible violence. And this scene was very reminiscent of that. And I asked John outside whether it was a conscious or unconscious, subconscious influence on you. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I've actually seen the movie Inglourious Basterds once, so I think it was probably more subconscious, but I think that Tarantino's work overall definitely informed much of that. I was telling you that Jaws, the whole USS Indianapolis scene, I think was that's my favorite scene of all time. They're all sitting on a boat and they're talking war stories, and then Quint starts talking about his experience on the USS Indianapolis, which was shot down. It was a secret mission, and men on the ship started to be eaten by sharks, and they're just being picked off one by one. And it's just such an eerie story as these three men are on a boat in the middle of nowhere versus in this film, it's three men that are in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. Even in fact, not to spoil the illusions, but when he gives them the drink, that was a little nod to Jaws as well, when Quint gives the drink to Chief Brody. I don't know if anyone knows their Jaws. I watch it once a summer for the last 28 years of my life, so it might be a little obscure here, but it's one of my favorite films. So yeah, I think that, I knew it was going to be a big scene when I was writing it, just in the sense of, it felt like it was a culmination of a lot of the ideas we were looking to explore, and it took a long time before I was, pretty comfortable with it. And then to see what Marshall Teague did, which is in the audition, he actually came in and read the entire 12-page scene, or 10-page scene, start to finish, and then just to give the alternative to that, some, men are coming in, they're like, getting on the reading glasses and like reading it off paper. He just memorized the whole thing just for an audition, and me, who, us and our team that really didn't really have anything to show for it, but it was that type of power that, it's just like, that's it, found him, don't need to see any more actors for the role. I think, it's just, he was such an incredible person to have on set, he's like a machine with his ability to just hit his marks and replicate emotions and give everything to Lawrence and Micah that they needed in order to deliver the best they could.
All right, well, let's now go to the audience who've been sitting patiently, I hope. Okay, up at the top.
How long did it take
Wait a second.
Yeah.
To film it?
Yeah.
It was 19 days over 19 production days over 24 days. So we did 10 days in Los Angeles and then 9 days up in Donner Lake, which is near Lake Tahoe. And it was scary. It gives me stress to think about because there's so many elements that could have shut down the shoot. We had forest fires, toxic spills. I was telling you all that stuff, The scene on the porch, for instance, was not meant to be there. We had this meticulous photo board that was supposed to be shot in the back, and then we would check the weather and it starts raining, and they're like, all right, choose a new location. And the DP's like, how about we're in the bedroom? I'm like, I can't be in the bedroom. I'm sorry, that's just not that interesting. So we're like, let's try the porch. And, and it's funny how what I see is, just a happy accident for what it was supposed to be.
Is Donner Lake where the Donner Party?
That is where the Donner Party.
So it has kind of, it's funny kind of resonance.
Yeah, we thought about putting in something about Donner Lake, but I felt it detracted from the narrative a little too much. It's kind of putting in more questions than we're supposed to be resolving by that point. But it was very difficult to have to let that go because I'm like, man, Donner Lake, it's one of the most beautiful yet eerie places. There's a great PBS documentary if anyone wants to watch it about the Donner Party and the cannibalism that occurred. And so we tried, but it's still filming there though in the middle of the night. It was very eerie. We were, I think some of the only people up there.
Next question, anybody? All the way in the back, stand up please.
The scene where the guy was stabbed in the motel was like a turning point, but I don't understand what that was about.
Explaining it. Oof. I guess, given the intimate setting, I won't provide the exact answer. That way you can watch it again and I'll be happy about it. But basically, there's this kind of circle characters getting caught in this vicious circle. So what happens to Ruby getting involved with the murder and the paranoia that she experiences was going to drive her to do something to Jack. So then Jack gets paranoid and that drives him to want to do something to her. And then Frank gets paranoid and that drives him to want to do something to his friend. And so it was kind of this idea of how far are you willing to, well, I guess more the psychological, what I found kind of fascinating was just the idea of if you do commit that grave sin of murder, how much will paranoia and your own moral guilt eventually overwhelm you into wanting to protect yourself at the expense of another. And so that is the best clue I could probably give, but yeah, it has to do with that.
Well, that's kind of part of the speech that the ex-Marshal T, the Army chaplain, makes as well, until that stare goes out of your eyes kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Anybody else? All the way in the back at the top. Speak loud.
Hi, I just have a question. One part of the movie, did Chris survive the whole thing? He just disappeared.
I like that. San Diego's the only film festival that's asked that question. I guess a little editing spoiler is that he wasn't supposed to die in the script, but then we were able to kind of explore that and kind of hint at that possibility now. So if you're asking me, no, he didn't die. But as is evident by Frank kind of pulling him back in. But we did it, like the editing trick was essentially, how about as he goes inside, we don't exactly know who's in the blanket. Is it Chris? Is it the chaplain? So I guess I'll say, no, it wasn't Chris. But that was just us having a little bit of fun with the power of
Mr. Steve, who the last body was.
Yeah, that was Dale in that case.
So then we said, did you get the gun? And I figured it was the gun.
Right.
Anyway, I thought it was a great movie, very cinematography, was really excellent. It flowed very well. And I liked everything about the movie except the very end, because you see my name is Jack.
Careful on your ride home.
You can't have everything.
Careful on your ride home.
Anyone else? Anybody have a question? This gentleman.
For Lawrence, as far as your acting, I know if you have an accent, do you prefer going one way or the other? Like, is it more of a challenge for you to try to master putting on a good persona, per se? Or do you, like, as far as your
I prefer a good story and a good director, and everything else is secondary. When I first met John, I said to him, this is going to be the last time you're going to hear my accent until we finish shooting. And for the next 2 months, I didn't drop it, even when I was at home with my girlfriend. Some people may think that's a bit extreme to do that, but for me, it was the only way I could, the only way I thought I was going to be able to do it. I mean, it was just it made sense. And whatever is necessary, I think, to fully realize the director's vision, if they have one, is what I go for. And I don't mind making such sacrifices, such as my voice. It's only a voice. Or even the way I look, or my appearance, or even sometimes the way I think. I mean, John gave me a book, Camus' A Stranger, when we started shooting, and he wanted me to kind of look into existentialism, and he wanted me to kind of rethink my moral outlook on the world. And we had a lot of deep, dark conversations about that, and I did my best to fully inhabit those thoughts and that world, and the voice came along as part of it, but it wasn't actually the hardest part of it. I think the toughest part was probably reconsidering my outlook on social relations.
I think that they're signaling me to wrap it up, so I will. I thank you all, we thank you all for coming and for sticking around for the Q&A. I hope you got something out of it, and We'll see you at the movies.